Hey guys, Brad for Show here, and time for another animation review. And I thought I'd start off with a little bit of Zelda. Tears of the Kingdom is coming out and taking over the world. And this is an animation done by one of my students, TJ. He's working on a Zelda run cycle, and I'm privileged to take a look at it and do a live review. Hopefully you can learn something and we can take a journey together. It's dangerous out there for an animator.
Let's go.
Alright, TJ, let's see what you got, buddy. Cool. And we got a front view as well. Nice. This is interesting because everybody wants Zelda to be a playable character, and that's exactly what we're going to do. Shout out to Nintendo. This is your new DLC package. This is coming along nice, TJ. If I may add just a couple of small things that's really catching my eye. One big thing that really does catch my eye, first and foremost, is just the giant snap with the leg coming down here. One big thing that I would like to stress is not to keep the leg in this area for too long. For running at the speed that she is, her leg is pretty much in the same space around these 3 frames, so it's okay to have like a nice ease into this connection point, but as soon as we make contact with this foot should be coming back with a lot of force, and I'm thinking probably somewhere around here, most likely. So of course by doing this you're just going to have to readjust a couple of other things as well too. So I've taken the liberty pretty much just taking your leg from frame 16 to 21-ish and just offsetting it by 1. So you basically, this stick figure represents what you already have. The only thing that we're changing is making sure that the contact of the foot is happening right after this connect. We want to feel the flattening of the foot moving back through here and maintaining that space, because when you think about it, her extreme down pose is happening around here. This is where most likely number 10 and 11 as well as 22 and 23 are having her extreme down pose through here, and this is the giant character pose that we're looking for. So if you're looking for where her feet are going to be, or legs are initially going to be changing, it's going to be pretty much around here. So looking at where her legs are going to be transitioning from, we want to have something fairly in this ballpark. So we want to have the transfer of the arms and the legs happening within that down pose. That's where the character comes from. Be sure to know that around here as well as around here as well too, this other leg feels like it's supposed to be where it's at. This screen, I hope it's left leg, is pretty much transitioning through that extreme down pose with Zelda, and I feel like that's going to be a heck of a lot better. Moving over to the upper body, this is really interesting to see kind of like what her body's doing, but most importantly is that I want to feel more offset, more up and down. Her head and her chest are kind of feeling like they're running on a line, so to speak, and I know she's going super fast, but you're at least going to have like a nice little bit of up and down, a little bit of offset with the chest and the head, and I'm going to show you how to do that. So once she's coming through to her extreme down pose through here, we want to get that bend into the spine area right here, and right now her spine feels pretty straight with her head facing forward right here. Say for example, if this is her bottom pose, you just want a little bit more of a bend in the spine that gets her to this bottom pose as well. And just know that even though she's transferring herself through this pose, we're still maintaining that bend in her spine. And as she's coming up to this push part, this is where we're going to start the transition from the spine to the most different angle. Once she's getting here, we need to feel that arc in her body too, and also that raise in her head just ever so slightly through here, throughout here. And you see how she's coming down, like she's curling down once, and then all of a sudden her head is hitting kind of a dead zone in space. This is what we're going to have to watch out for too, because once she hits that wall, her head's pretty much maintaining that space for about 2 or 3 frames. And when she comes to this high point too, it's important to know that her hips are constantly going up and down. And right here, I'm looking at the apex of your hips. in air, and it looks like just for a subtle frame she's holding. Try to start bringing her down just a little bit sooner throughout here, I would suggest, because once you start bringing her hips down ever so slightly, easing throughout here, that's when you can start to push down the chest and overlap the head as well too. Her spine is still pretty straight, and all we want to do is just make sure that the spine has like a nice little curve in there. Nice little curve going out. So you have one right here, and her head's possibly going to be up just a little bit more. Making sure we feel that push off in the spine. Cool. We also too want to watch just this last thing right here, and I know we're cycling on 26, so I'm going to do a quick little trick right here and just cycle it from 25. There's one small part where the arm and the arrow kind of jerk a little bit, and I think it's around, yeah, I think it's around here. The only reason that this part is catching me a little bit is because you got nice movement through here, but once we reach this part of the arm, notice the shape of the arm hits this pose right here. And then for the next frame, we still maintain that shape. You have nice mobility in your arm. When your arm is running, it's almost just kind of like a pendulum swing. You know, when the upper arm moves, so does the lower arm. It kind of bends, it gets into place too. But when we stop, that kind of break in the forearm and the upper arm, and if we hold a pose through that, if we hold a pose and start moving it just from the upper arm, that kind of catches our eye a little bit. So the only thing is just to kind of keep that flow going. Your pose is correct when it comes through here to 25, but as it starts moving forward, you want to have that break a little bit sooner. Moving the upper arm ever so slightly, but the forearm even further to keep that break going. And then once you get to a pose here, obviously when we work on the arrows, we'll probably still keep them more or less at this angle when they're coming up. When we get to the apex, which is our air pose, know that this is the most extended that our arms and legs are going to get. So with that hit, with our upper arm being going as furthest as it can, we'll start to transition back as well as ease out the hand as well. Yeah. Very nice. Yep, so that's it. It's looking really cool, man. Hope that helped you out, TJ, and anybody else who found this helpful. If that helped you guys out, give me a like or subscribe. Helps me out a lot. Now, if you guys excuse me, I got a little Zelda to play.